Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to my Ingmar Bergman series. Today I am talking about the third film that Ingmar Bergman directed, but the second film that is available through the collection, and that is A Ship to India. A Ship to India follows a young sailor named Johannes Blum, who has just come back from a long voyage to reconnect with his hometown and a former love that he had. But she responds very negatively and very strong and very passionately negatively towards him. And he then reflects back on the past that he left behind to figure out what is going on, basically. It's a reflection, flashback narrative. This is a movie that, the very first minute I saw it, I'm like, Bergman is working with a budget. It's very clear. It's one of those moments that when you watch classic cinema and you see like the studio effects, like the very old and cheap movies, that, yeah, this person was clearly working on a budget in a studio. And you laugh at it, but it's kind of like, okay, that's the kind of world that we're introduced to. And you get used to it early on because you're introduced to it right away. But the thing that I really wanted to focus on at the beginning of this is talking about how this is not Bergman's own work. This is an adaptation that he is making from a play, and he himself has adapted it with a screenplay. And I really like that choice artistically because there's a certain responsibility that comes out of you when you have to represent somebody else's material as opposed to your own. When it's your own, if it fails, then the failure comes back just to yourself. But when you're representing someone else's work, there is that added risk that if you fail this project, you not only make yourself look bad, but you make the material look bad. And in my opinion, that's one of the biggest sins of an adaptation is to make people feel turned off from the source material. Bergman, I actually think, does a very good job in this film of capturing the essence of the material accurately and respecting it. He's a little bit out of a distance with it. He doesn't want to really destroy the material or really mess up the writing of the play. At least that's what I'm inferring from like how he films this movie. Because it's done pretty, I'd say, securely. There are some risks taken in this film, but it's mostly done to present the play, and I thought it was captured fine. Like I don't think there was anything that was necessarily too outstanding with how it was filmed, with exception to one thing which I'll talk about in a second. And I thought the performances, for the most part, especially for the one for Johannes and for the young lover Sally, I thought they were good. There were some really good moments between them, and I think the actors are much better than the ones that were in Crisis for telling that story. I think the big star of this film is actually Holger enANDler, who plays Alexander Blum, the captain, basically the father of Johannes. He rides that balance so well of sympathetic character, a frustrating antagonist, and also a just really pitiful creature. As well as Anna Lindahl, who plays Johannes' mother. She isn't in the film very much, but she does so well when she is on screen. And when she's interacting with her husband, she knows that he has a mistress who, actually, I don't think I mentioned this, Sally, the young woman that Johannes is after, the lover that he's after in the present, is the lover of his father in the past. That's something that I was like, oh, okay. You just made the stakes that much higher. And that's why I think this material is actually so good. I want to seek this material out if there's an English translation of it. There are some extras in this movie that are fine. Nothing, again, outstanding from them. However, this movie does have the first great moment in it. And I can't really explain what it is without spoiling it. But a decision is made by one of the lead characters while this scene is being presented, while this little moment, it's not even a full scene, it's just very brief, and you're seeing the gears of this individual with their thinking process of how they're going to make this decision. And you're like, oh my gosh, what are they going to do? And then when you realize what is being shown to you, you're horrified because you're like, my gosh, this is happening right now. It was the first moment where I was just like, actually really paying attention to the screen and really like, okay, I'm in this. And I'm glad I stuck with what I said for Crisis and saying that this is somebody who needs to express through cinema, because it's like, yeah, he knows what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and that is what's so cool about this. Other than that, A Ship to India ends pretty pretty well. Again, it's a very memorable movie. I remember it quite well. It's very good. It's much better than Crisis, and I don't think it's necessarily the higher caliber of quality when it comes to his technical style. I personally like it a little bit more than I think the film is really in terms of its quality, but you could check it out. It's not a necessary film for everyone. And those are my thoughts on A Ship to India. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Stay tuned for my next one, and take care.